Dear Benjamin and Henry, first and most importantly, I love you. It is an incredible joy to be your dada. I love that you come to services each week. I love when I hear you sing, even if you sometimes can't follow the sing with your whole heart, just not louder than Cantor Mendelssohn rule. And I love that you feel comfortable in the sanctuary and that you are growing up a part of this beautiful and loving community. I'm writing you this letter because I want to try and find the just right words to talk to you about Israel and what it means to me. I don't know how much of it you'll understand right now. Maybe you'll read it in a few years. Maybe when you read it, the world will look and feel different. I really hope it does. Maybe you'll agree with me. Maybe you won't. It's not my job to tell you what to believe. I think it's my job to help you learn how to think. Because of that, I'm not going to give you history and facts here. Not because they don't matter, they matter very much. But I want to speak to you about the ideas and values that inform how I feel. And there sure are a lot of feelings. When you're ready, you'll read a history book, or 2 or 3. Maybe we'll read them together. For now, I want you to understand what I believe. And then I want you to travel and learn and experience and explore and walk and hike and eat and talk. And then I want you to go through your own process of thoughtful discovery, inquiry, and articulation. And you'll be ready to do that and read this once you know what all of those words mean. In truth, my little loves, the last 2 years have been challenging. It has been a hard and complicated time in the Jewish world, and Israel has been going through one of the most difficult periods of its history. Every week at Shabbat, when we get to a moment where we offer a prayer for the hostages, in the back of my mind, I have this extra little bit of worry. I want to find the right words for the moment and for the community, but I'm also worried about you. I know that we talk about Israel at home, and that you learn about it in the ECP and at religious school and at camp. I don't want you to internalize trauma around Israel or be afraid of being Jewish. So sometimes I speak in euphemism, in part because I don't want to frighten you. I don't want you to think Israel just means conflict. I want you to understand that there is so much more. I'm a Zionist. To me, Zionism is the right to Jewish self-determination in the land of Israel. Zionism is an ongoing project to build and sustain a home for our extended family, to live out the highest ideals and dreams of the Jewish people, and to strive in each and every moment to be a just, righteous, and moral nation. It's written right there in the Israeli Declaration of Independence. The state of Israel will promote the development of the country for the benefit of all its inhabitants. It will be based on precepts of liberty, justice, and peace taught by the Hebrew prophets. Zionism does not mean being uncompromising. Zionism is not too fragile to handle critique. Zionism does not mean we cannot recognize other people's rights to life and peace. And Zionism does not mean that we cannot share. One of the things that drives my connection to both Israel and America is the desire to make both places of peace, justice, and equality. I'm never satisfied with the way things are, or with things being just good enough. My Judaism, my Americanism, and my Zionism make me want to work for the world as it could and should be. The word Zionism has been used and misused a lot over these 2 years. Some use it as an attack. Some use it to draw lines about who is or is not allowed in certain spaces. Some use it to suggest one narrow political attitude. Kiddos, no one gets to define what Zionism means to you. But the spaces to thoughtfully evaluate and share what that means, those spaces are rare. I hope our home and our synagogue are places where you feel safe to ask and to explore. The first time I went to Israel was on Birthright in 2004. Your dad has a great deal of experience in procrastination and missed the cutoff for the trip. But 2 days before it was scheduled to leave, a spot opened up. Opa bought me a new digital camera, drove me to LaGuardia Airport, and off I went. I was lucky to travel there with Uncle Matt. He's a friend uncle, not a family uncle. My first memory in Israel was on the bus driving out of the airport complex. I looked over at some of the concrete barriers that help direct traffic. On one, I saw some graffiti. There was a blue Star of David and the words Am Yisrael Chai in Hebrew. In Israel, even the graffiti is in Hebrew. In Israel, the Diet Coke bottles wish you a Chag Sameach and a Shana Tova. In Israel, the calendar follows the flow of Jewish time. In Jerusalem, you hear a siren 40 minutes before Shabbat starts to remind you to finish getting ready. Israel matters to me because it is the place where Judaism is alive. Later on in that trip, we went for a hike through the Negev desert. The tour guide asked for a volunteer, and Uncle Matt pushed me forward. The tour guide directed me to stand in the shape of Israel with one hand on my head and one leg bent, sort of like tree pose. He poked my belly button. This is Beersheba. My toes, Eilat. My shoulder, Haifa. And then we started walking. And I had this flash to Hebrew school with Mrs. Rosenberg and Mrs. Rutner. I was walking in the place of the stories of Abraham and Sarah. I was walking the steps of history, connected to ancient stories and hopes and the legacy our family has carried for centuries. Henry and Benjamin, the land of Israel matters to me because it is connected to our history. And the state of Israel matters to me because it gives the Jewish people the chance to live out our highest dreams, aspirations, visions, and the hope held within our tradition. That's part of the miraculous opportunity of Israel. It's a chance to take history, legacy, and tradition and live it. Not theoretically, not as a minority population carving out its space, but the chance to build a real nation rooted in our values and ideals. My Zionism is informed by lots of thinkers like Achad Ha'am, who talked about Chibat Zion, a love for Israel that will inspire culture and unity and enthrone universal righteousness. I cannot wait to read Achad Ha'am with you. It's also inspired by Martin Buber, who told us not to be satisfied with just normalcy. If that's all that we are, he warned, we shall soon cease to be at all. Core to Theodore Herzl's dream was creating a place where Jews could thrive in safety, where the Jewish people will always have a home. But David Ben-Gurion, the first prime minister of Israel, cautioned the young state. He said that Israel can't just be an ark to weather the storms of persecution, but rather it must be a nation with an elevated mission. Israel matters to me because of its potential to be a model and a light to the nations. The second time I went to Israel was to live there for a year. Your mama and I got married, and 17 days later, we flew to Israel for my first year of rabbinical school. We called that time our year-long honeymoon. As we were packing, Mama had 2 large Costco-sized packs of frozen Hebrew National hot dogs in her suitcase. Israel has a lot of delicious food, but hot dogs in Israel are gross. So, whenever someone in the family goes to Israel, they bring hot dogs. A few weeks after we landed, cousin Yoni, that's a family cousin, picked us up from our apartment in Jerusalem and drove us to our family's home in Gush Etzion for family hot dog night. Gush Etzion is a settlement in the West Bank. Most of what I knew about the settlements before moving to Israel was that they were an impediment to the peace process. But that's where some of Mama's family lives and where they've lived since the 1970s. And family is important to us. So we went many times that year. Each time we laughed and we sang. We had deep, meaningful conversations. Your cousins asked me a lot about Reform Judaism because it was new to them. And cousin Mayan made me answer all of their questions in Hebrew. She helped and always supported me as I tried to find the right words to explain. And in the years since, some of those cousins have come to visit us in our home. Those relationships are very special. Kiddos, Israel matters to me because it's where our family lives. A crucial part of becoming a rabbi and living in is living in Israel to understand the history, the language, the land, and the people. And I wanted to be immersed in as much as I could. Part of that immersion meant meeting with all of Israeli society, from Haredi Jews to kibbutzniks, government ministers to artists. We met Jews, Christians, Muslims, Druze. I made the choice also to travel to the West Bank to meet Palestinians and their leaders, once with an organization called Encounter, and a few years later with AIPAC. I went on these trips because I knew it would be impossible for me to understand this place without exploring and understanding the Palestinian people who also have a history with this land that they also love. On Encounter, Mama and I were hosted overnight by a Palestinian family. They were gracious and generous. We learned about some of the hardships that Palestinians faced, and I asked questions about how to balance Israel's reasonable security needs with deeply important questions about human rights. And then I tried to listen. We met people there who want to live and thrive, just like our family. They are human beings who deserve to live in safety and peace too. This past spring, one of you, I don't remember which, but one of you asked me who was winning the war. I didn't know that you knew the word war. It hurt my heart a little bit. But you're real people. You live in the real world. You get to ask questions. Who's winning? What I told you then, I meant with my whole heart. No one wins a war. My loves, no one wins a war. For the last 2 years, the first thing I do when I wake up every morning is check the Times of Israel. Every time there's an alert or news about a recent attack or military casualties in Gaza, I check. And when there are pictures of soldiers, I'm always afraid it will be one of your cousins. I know that they're in the reserves, and most of them are not in active combat units, but I check because it's family. There's another truth about family that I want you to understand. Sometimes families disagree. Sometimes you disagree on things that are very, very important. I know that you never disagree with anything that Mama and I say. As you get older, we'll probably disagree more. But disagreement will not indicate a lack of love. To disagree or rebuke does not come from a place of hatred or abandonment. It comes from love. Because we love, we want the object of our love to be the best version of themselves. I love Israel, and you will hear me critique it out of love and out of deep, deep care and concern. And just like I want you to be the best Benjamin and the best Henry, I will work with Israel and the Jewish people to be the best version of ourselves too. Boy, chicks, there's another reason I check the news every morning and afternoon and night. I check the news desperate for an update on hostage release negotiations and peace plans. I see the families of hostages rallying and pleading for a deal. And I see the images of children and families suffering and starving in Gaza. Benjamin and Henry, people shouldn't starve. And we must have empathy and care for innocent people, no matter where they live. That is what Mama and I try to teach you. That's part of what it means to be a Jew. Jews in Israel should feel safe and not have rockets shot at them. And people in Gaza deserve leaders who care earnestly about their safety and well-being. And people in Gaza should be able to live in safety and prosperity. Both can be true. It doesn't mean it's easy. But boys, just like we tell you all the time, we can do hard things. Part of our job is to stay committed, stay part of the conversation, stay part of the people invested in building a future for all people. And sometimes we can say, I don't know. It's okay. It's okay for something to matter deeply to you and to not have all the answers. Don't be afraid to say, I don't know. For now, let me tell you some things that I do know. I know that we have tried to make peace for a long time. I know that some leaders say that they want peace, but are busy preparing for war and guarding their own power. I know that more than one people can love the land, and I know that we have to find a way to share it. I know that we can have moral expectations and be committed to safety and security. I know that people should not be held hostage. I know that people should not starve. I know that people should not have to hide in bomb shelters. I know that people should not suffer because of where they were born. I know that Israel makes mistakes, and I know that Israel has caused harm. I know that Hamas willfully puts the people it claims to represent in harm's way. I know that violence begets more violence, and I know that war will not bring peace. I know that we have to be brave and ask hard, sometimes uncomfortable questions. I know that the moral questions we ask and the disagreements we have come from a place of love. I know that we have to be a light, especially during the hardest moments. I know that when there is a war, no one wins. I'm writing you this letter while Israel is at a significant crossroads. The choices Israel makes affect Jews around the world and define what Israel will be going forward. I am deeply troubled by some of those choices. But I am no less committed to Israel's safety and future. Hamas, the Palestinian people, world leaders, they make choices too. But my love and my investment and my pride are in Israel, and I care deeply about the choices Israel makes. We can do hard things. We are brave. We are not afraid to face hard moral questions. We know that we can uphold the values from our Torah of justice and dignity for all human beings. Israel matters to me because it is a miraculous experiment in Jewish life, leadership, culture, and identity. What Jews do there and what Jews do here matters. I want an Israel that is safe and secure, and I want an Israel that I am proud of. Yom Kippur reminds us that we always have room to grow and do better. Boys, there are so many more stories that I want to tell you. And I will. I want to take you there, maybe with Kol Ami. When we go, I'll show you where Mama and I lived, but I won't make you walk up the 6 flights of stairs. I'll take you to my favorite hummus place, Hummus Ben Sira. I'll show you where I studied. I'll show you where I studied and where we had a snowball fight with Uncle Josh and Aunt Annie, friend family. We'll pray together at the Egalitarian Plaza at the Western Wall, and then I'll tell you about the first time Mama wore her talit at the Kotel, and how she stood up to Haredi protesters and graciously wished them a Chodesh Tov, a good month. You'll learn the Hebrew words for your favorite ice cream flavors, and then I'll tell you how Dada mixed up the words for cookie and tomato. We'll hike the paths our ancestors took in the Negev. We'll visit your cousins and bring them American hot dogs. And as you grow up, I hope you will find the just right words. Cried in the first shift. I don't know if I cried this one too. You're welcome. I hope you find the just right words to say what Israel means to you, and that you share your own hopes and dreams for what it can become. Love, Dada.
אני מביט מהחלום, וזה עושה לי די עצוב. האביב חלף אבל לא מי יודע אם ישוב. הליצן היה למלך, הנביא נהיה ליצן, ושכחתי את הדרך, אבל אני עוד כאן, ויהיה טוב, יהיה טוב, כן. לפעמים אני נשבר, אז הלילה איתך אני נשאר. ילדים לובשים כנפיים ועפים אל הצבא, ואחרי שנתיים הם חוזרים ללא תשובה. אנשים חיים במתח, מחפשים סיבה לנשום, בין שנאה לרצח מדברים על השלום. ויהיה טוב, יהיה טוב, כן. לפעמים אני אז הלילה, הלילה, איתך אני נשאר. כן, שם למעלה בשמיים, עננים לומדים לעוף, ואני מביט למעלה ורואה מטוס חטוף, ממשלה של גנרלים מחלקת את הנוף שלהם לשלנו, ולא רואים את הסוף. עוד נלמד לחיות ביחד בין חולשות עצי זיתים, ילדים יחיו בלי פחד, בלי גבולות, בלי מקלטים. הכפרים יפרח העשב, ושלום ואהבה, 100 שנים של חרב, ועוד לא אבדה התקווה, ויהיה טוב, יהיה טוב, כן, לפעמים אני נשבר. אז הלילה,
Soon we'll learn to live together between the olive trees. Children will live without fear, without borders, without bomb shelters. Grass will grow on the graves. Love and peace will take the place of years of the sword. Yeh tov. It'll be okay. Sometimes we're broken. But tonight, I'll stay with you. Maybe in the days to come, you'll do the same. Maybe you'll write a letter. But the things that... to write a letter about the things that matter to you, to the people who matter to you. This is the season of finding the just right words. May we merit the opportunity to find the just right words.